Welcome everyone. This is a quick market update on BTC. Also, I'm gonna have a look at the XRP chart. I think we have a lot to talk. It has been a while I was not doing any live streaming alone, so I'm trying to get back to work. As you know, I have been absent from this channel about 3 months. That all started with my X account being suspended. However, let's get this started. By the way, let me know if my mic is actually working properly. Oh, it's to the right microphone. I guess now it's better, the quality of the sounds. As I am now a full-time YouTuber, that's funny, I don't have an X account anymore, so I'm just trying to improve my YouTube setup. I'm now a YouTuber, no longer on X. Yeah, thanks everyone for the comments. So the first thing I want to talk about is that, let me bring here to the screen, just give me a second. Fed, well, usually I have Versan to help me out here on the settings, so I need some time to do this alone. Give me a second. Okay. So we have a massive correction, and I call this a massive because it's a critical support levels on the chart. So there we have Federal Reserve cuts interest rates by 0.25% for the second straight meeting. And now you might be wondering why the markets are actually reacting in such a bad way. Let me bring the BTC chart here so you're going to understand more. Why I have been quite bearish, especially on BTC. So there we have the charts looking actually horrible at the moment. And I am a macro guy, don't get me wrong. Actually, I don't really care about the charts, but when I talk about macro scenarios, I also take the charts as an example. The first thing we have to understand here, just a second, I have some things are running out of control here on my settings, just a second. That's quite funny. Well, the first thing is when the Fed cut interest rates, it's actually a signal that the economy is in a very weak position. So that's not bullish from my perspective. Of course, down the road, we can have some extra liquidity hitting the markets, and of course, that can benefit crypto as well. But usually that's more bullish to precious metals, in my opinion. It's more bullish to actually gold, silver, even perhaps platinum. I think Versan talks a lot about platinum. I don't know so much about platinum, but I do know about the charts of both gold and silver, and also the use cases they have on the economy. So it's basically as smart money sell the news agenda. Basically, that's what happened today. So everyone was expecting that because they cut rates, crypto would to pump, and then they just liquidated all the traders. Everyone that was long actually took a big hit. I have been short in the market, so for me that was something beneficial. Now, usually with the economy in slow modes, it means that unemployment, it's actually rising. I have seen some news that Amazon is planning on some massive layoffs that's tied to artificial intelligence. That also means that there is pressure on the bonds markets. And as well, we can see that credit card delinquencies are on the rise as well. Now, this chart here is very concerning. If you see the white line here, it's about $112,000. That was a major support level for BTC that's completely destroyed at the moment. So the price right now is at $109,000. So it's way below this $112,000. And by the way, as I said, I'm not someone that praises TA, but we can't ignore the fact that support levels on charts are tangible. It's something real. Now, you can't just draw arbitrary lines on charts and think you're going to predict the future. That's not the case. Most of TA was completely wrong in the past, let's say in the past 2 years, I guess everyone was wrong. It's just all it takes is a new tweet from Donald Trump and everything can change overnight. So have in mind, this is crypto, everything can change by the time I wake up tomorrow. However, this is quite concerning. So as you see here, this was when Trump announced the tariffs, and that's when BTC broke below $117,000. That was also acting as some support levels that it has completely lost. And then the next level was here, $112,000. It was holding for the past couple of days, and today this level is completely destroyed. Now, what I want you to pay attention, it's very important that you understand this. We have this next level here, $105,000. That's also acting as a long-term support level. That was previously the resistance level here, if you zoom out the chart. But what is concerning is actually losing 99,000. So if BTC is to lose 99,500, I think it's 1,000% that we are going to head towards a bear market. I'm talking about BTC, I'm not talking about XRP, so please pay attention to that. So just let me, I removed myself by mistake, just a second. Oops, whoa man, I just don't know how to use this streaming platform anymore. So, okay, here I am back. So please watch out for BTC to hold above $99,500. Not going to happen overnight, I know. However, that would be very concerning for BTC to lose $99,500. I would say that BTC run would be fully over. Now let's have a look at XRP chart. Is also, I don't even know the price now, so let me bring this to the screen. Oh, it's a long time I haven't done a live streaming, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to answer some questions, by the way, so feel free to ask some questions. And I'm going to be very honest. I was not supposed to live streaming, but I needed to test some settings on the camera and some lights that I have actually just installed. So it was also a way for me to test my setup before we go on the turning point Monday. So I'm going to be with Versan again, and I want to make sure everything is all right. Now XRP $2.55. Let's stop the BTC and let's bring XRP, the real deal, to the screen. I'll be very brief about XRP. And just a second. Yeah, I prefer the circle. Briefly talking about XRP, I mean, TA is kind of bullshit. I know about that, but we want XRP to reclaim this $2.80 here. This means that I would say that the bearish price action could be deemed like, my English is quite not the best in these days. It's 3 months, guys. I was not live streaming, so we need to reclaim $2.80. So I think the bearish claims would be invalidated. But until there, I do expect a major correction that will hit XRP as well. And when I talk a major correction, we could actually retest. Well, first, if we hold above $2.30, that's kind of all right. But losing $2.30 could mean that we could retest once again the support levels here on the long term, $1.60. Now, why is it extremely difficult to actually make any TA on XRP right now? Well, guess what? You see this massive red candle here. That's actually, I can zoom out a bit. So this even took XRP to $1.20 a couple of weeks ago on that massive liquidation event. And what surprises me is that every chart looks different. So you have, this is actually XRP on Binance, but on other platforms, and just a second, let me close the chart right now. Yeah, so I'm back here. So there are many XRP charts right now because that massive liquidation event has actually messed up with all the charts. And in some exchanges, XRP even went as low as 77 cents. So it's virtually impossible to actually come with any reasonable TA. Just know that 280 is an important level on the chart. It was the previous resistance levels. sorry, the previous support levels. Now it's acting kind of as a resistance. So that's important. I'll be watching that level, but as I said, Donald Trump can come out tomorrow, drop a tweet, and everything can change overnight. I can wake up very bullish tomorrow, but for the moment, I do expect some correction. Now I see some questions about XRP ETFs. Honestly, I don't really care about the ETFs. I think that's irrelevant. On the long run, yes, that can be beneficial for the price, but on the short term, it's just going to be like, not sure if you have seen, but HBAR had an ETF approved just a couple of days ago, 20% pump, and suddenly it has dumped all the way back, 15-20% dump instantly. So basically, ETFs for me is just more speculation. I don't like to make any XRP excitement surrounding speculation. I like actually to focus on the real world utility. I like to focus on XRP as a mechanism to dissolve the global debt. I like to see XRP as the means of a new world reserve currency. So I don't really care about the ETFs. Honestly, that's not what's going to be responsible for XRP to reach 2 or 3 or 4 digits or 5 digits in the future. Now, yes, is Bitcoin going down? Yes, BTC is going down. That's absolutely going down. I do think that we're going to have a major correction for BTC. Let's see more questions here. BTC dominance. Let me check the BTC dominance today. It's still quite high for this cycle. Yeah, it's actually, well, it's 58%, I guess. So it's still high. If we have a recovery, no, it's 59% BTC dominance. So if we have a recovery on the charts, we can have another leg up for the alt season. But until we actually hold, we have to, sorry, I'm just fixing the camera. So we have to really reclaim this $112,000 to actually think about BTC dominance and how that's going to impact altcoins, which I don't like this word. Actually, I don't call altcoins. It's just that there are other coins that are not BTC. I don't even like altcoins. So have another question here, and yeah, thanks for the donation, George. So Edu, what's your thoughts on Vilo? Is there a possibility it could hit 25 cents or 50 cents? Definitely, yes. Vilo is actually one of my favorite cryptocurrencies. So I'm going to also bring here Vilo to the screen. Just give me a second, guys. When I have other people with me on the live stream, it's much easier. So yeah, I'm opening here Vilo Labs, about Vilo, and yeah. So basically, if you guys are not familiar with Vilo, let me bring Vilo to the screen. I'll not go into details and describe exactly what's the purpose of Vilo. Well, I can tell you it's quite similar to SHX Stronghold. What's happening here, man? Can you guys see the screen? Oh, I guess so. Yeah. So basically, you have top team members. So it's basically an advisor for Vilo. It's Jed McCaleb, and basically Jed McCaleb is also co-founder of the XRP Ledger, co-founder of Ripple, and the founder of Stellar XLM. I think that's enough. That says enough about this project. And let's bring Vilo chart here. I think Vilo can even go back to its all-time high. Now, I can't tell you when that's going to happen. Trading view. I'm going to open Vilo chart here. By the way, if you guys don't know, Vilo is basically 1 cent right now. It's extremely cheap. It's mind-blowing. Wow, I forgot how difficult it's to live stream alone, in the sense of that you have to do all by yourself. I'll be answering other questions as well. In the meantime, if you guys want to drop some comments. Okay, see on super chat. Yeah, there I have Vilo. Yeah, so this is very interesting. I'm bringing Vilo to the screen here. Yeah, this is what I want to pass on. I'll not go on the chart, but as you can see here, the all-time high for Vilo is approximately $2.29. I remember on some charts, for me, it was $1.90. So basically, the price right now is ridiculous. It's 1 cent. So it's much more than 100x. I think it's one of the most undervalued assets you can ever buy. And if people have questions about Vilo, you can always send me a message. I answer people on Instagram. And honestly, it's quite surprising that a lot of people still don't know about Vilo. I mean, it's literally flying under the radar. Thoughts on SHX? Already high price or has a lot more to go? I definitely think it has a lot of potential. I have been taking profits when it was 0.03. Now it's actually 0.013. So right now I'm accumulating more SHX. I also spoke with Versan about SHX a couple of days ago, and both of us, I remember we were saying to each other that we were actually buying SHX, yes, a stronghold. I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible. Yes, HBAR is holding well. Yes, I agree. It's also a great project. It's actually a different technology. It's not a blockchain, so it's called. Now I forgot how it's called, but it's not. It's the nodes communicate on a different way than the traditional blockchain. It's a hash graph. Yeah, that's how it's called. Oh, someone here breaking my balls. That's funny. What did you say to get blocked on X? That's likely about the dormant BTC wallets. That's a very sensitive topic. I will even avoid talking about that on my YouTube channel or my TikTok. I don't want to be banned on every social media. So yes, I try to uncover the truth about the dormant BTC wallets, but apparently that's a very sensitive topic. Can Ripple sell the locked XRP on escrow, and how this affects the price? Well, they can sell, but in a different way. It doesn't instantly affect the price because this XRP is locked on escrow. They will not hit the open market. So in other words, you know what's an over-the-counter sale, like OTC. So let me give an example. Let's say that I have 100,000 XRPs on my Xaman wallet. That's just hypothetical. And let's say someone wants to buy these XRPs from my wallet. There are two ways. Either I could send this to an exchange and they could buy on the open markets, or someone could actually send me on stable coins. Let's say they send me $250,000 for that XRP. I send them directly to their wallet. That doesn't go through exchange. Therefore, it will not impact the price at all. Unless this person decides to take the XRP I just sold to them and actually dump on the open markets, then we're going to have then it will affect the price. However, the thing with the escrow is that this XRP will not, in the same way an OTC deal, this XRP will not hit the open markets at first hand. So that means that Ripple could have already made an OTC deal, and that's my speculation. I have actually quite a lot of evidences to back my speculation, but I can't bring a document here and say, look, this is an NDA between Ripple and the US Treasury, or perhaps the Bank of International Settlements, IMF, and they could actually, let me rephrase that. I have to be careful with my words, guys. I don't want to lose my YouTube channel. But let's speculate that Ripple sold this XRP in escrow to the IMF, for example. Let's say 10 billion XRP. That will not immediately affect the price, but that will contribute for scarcity because there will be less XRP in circulation. Now, anyone that wants to buy XRP is going to be forced to buy on the open markets. Therefore, some time from now, that will likely to affect the price. So that will make price to go higher. Now, not on the first moment, but down the curve is going to affect the price because that's going to drive scarcity. Yes, the idea of the escrow is becoming very clear. I have been speaking about the escrow for years, and only now the escrow is becoming a popular subject. I remember me and Versan were basically the pioneers on talking about the escrow. What's my prediction for the XRP ETF? Honestly, I am not really following the ETFs in terms of the deadlines. I'm not very enthusiastic of the ETF, so I just pass on this. I remember, guys, I was 3 months outside of the crypto world, so I'm just catching up in the past 2 or 3 weeks. So slowly, I'm gonna be updated about everything. Suspicious of certain people who use it to be incredibly bullish. Well, I hope you're not talking about me, because I am still extremely bullish on XRP, so I don't really know who you are addressing. Crypto Geek, yes, mate, I am back on YouTube, not on Twitter, unfortunately. Yeah, been making content on YouTube, also on Instagram and on TikTok. Yeah, that's my social medias now, unfortunately. Yeah, well, honestly, he says other influencers. I don't know who you are talking about, but yeah, that could be the case. I do believe some people can receive threats or whatever you have said before, or whatever reason they change their minds about XRP. For me, it doesn't make sense. It's quite strange, to be honest. Do you think XRP price will skyrocket after main spot ETFs approved? No, I don't think ETFs are going to have sustainable effects on the price. It might drive speculation, but I don't invest on XRP for speculation, so I'm not really interested to see the price go from, let's say, $2.50 to $3. That won't change my life. I'm really expecting institutional FOMO. That's what I think is going to drive XRP price up, and honestly, it's not going to be spot ETFs. Of course, that down the road can be beneficial because it will open more markets, more accessibility to more investors to buy XRP, but that's not the main reason. ETFs are, for me, kind of a distraction. It's not something that I'm paying too much attention. Yeah, someone says if BTC falls, it will take XRP with it, since we are not decoupled from it. Yes, I agree. We can even have a big correction, as I said on the beginning of this video. And I'm looking forward for the moment XRP is going to decouple from BTC. In my past video, I actually pointed out for something interesting. And it's again about the dormant BTC wallet. So that's a systemic threat to BTC. There is like thousands of early mined BTC back in 2011 that they can just actually be dumped in the markets at any given moment. You don't have the same systemic threat to XRP. There's an escrow that prevents that from happening. And that's why XRP is going to decouple from BTC. I am 100% convinced. You can't be a reserve currency. You can't act as a global reserve currency if you are still following the irrational movements from BTC. It doesn't make any sense. If I can talk about XRP as a substitute for Swift. Yes, I can talk. Just a second. Drinking some good sparkling water here. Greek snow, Suruti, rich in minerals. Now, talking about Swift, it's basically, I don't think XRP is going to replace Swift, but I think Swift can integrate the XRP ledger capabilities and perhaps even the digital asset XRP itself. There's a former Swift employee that has described that Swift has already successfully tested with XRP. This guy worked for Swift for over 30 or 40 years. As he said, Swift flowed through his veins, and this is a Swift former employee that has confirmed. Now, Swift can integrate the XRP ledger's capabilities. I don't think replace is the right word, but work together with Swift. I don't say it's impossible. Who knows? Maybe in the future. But I'm looking forward for XRP to actually replace. Then we can talk about the Nostro Vostro accounts, and that's something that can be actually, instead of replacing Swift, getting rid of the Nostro Vostro accounts, unlocking unprecedented liquidity on the markets, work as it was designed as a liquidity provider. That's what XRP was always intended to do. The government will buy XRP directly from Ripple. Well, I'll tell you, within the limits of what I can say on YouTube, it's already done, and it was done about 6 years ago. No more comments. Any thoughts about XDC? Yes, it's also one of my favorite digital assets. It works actually in a very sophisticated way to tokenize. There is a mechanism with XDC that's called the oracles. And the oracles are set to extract all the data that is on the internet and tokenize that on the blockchain. You can tokenize anything of value with XDC, but most importantly, it's much cheaper to do that if you compare to other networks like Ethereum. So for me, XDC is the Ethereum killer. I love XDC. What got you interested in connecting all the dots with Ripple? Honestly, I think that was a divine intervention in my life. That's what I can say. This is a great question. Why hasn't there really been a bull run this year? That's true. That's not a real bull run. I 100% agree, and I have spoke about that on my videos. Now, the answer is, number one, there is very low liquidity on the markets. That translates to less participants in the market and extremely tiny order books. I have made many videos very precise about 6 months ago when I was showing the BTC charts 2025, and you compare to the liquidity to the previous cycles, and is about 400% lower. So there has never been large liquidity on the market. So the interest in crypto is actually at all-time lows, despite BTC being above $100,000. That tells you that it's 100% manipulation. That's why BTC is being synthetically pumped. It's a synthetic pump, and with the large amounts of meme coins, and also it's so many new cryptocurrencies in the markets, it has flooded the markets and caused what I call dilution. So the liquidity is diluted in so many new projects, so there is enough liquidity to recover most of the charts, basically. Just see that most coins are sitting below bear market levels. I hope that was clear. Yes, I agree. Institutions are the ones to blame. They are, and for them, it's better to have low liquidity because they can cause massive liquidation events, just like they did 3 weeks ago. Like, it doesn't take much to crash the markets at 20%, liquidate all the traders, liquidate all the short positions, and then pump the markets with little liquidity, tiny order books, and is the perfect recipe for market manipulation. I 100% agree with you, Daryl. The markets are rigged. thinking to start your own YouTube channel. I think that's a great idea. I don't know if you want to talk about crypto, if you want to, which subject, but I totally believe that is one of the best ways to actually not only make money, but connections and actually follow your passion, considering the massive layoffs that are coming in the next 2-3 years. I think starting to work with social media is something great. How do I feel about XLM, KNT, and HBAR? I'm extremely bullish on XLM. It's actually my second largest holding. Quants, honestly, I have been more bullish on Quant before, but it's too much. It's on Ethereum network, and everything that's on Ethereum network, I always raise an eyebrow. So, and also considering the price of Quant now, let me see. By the way, I have to see the price of Quant now, but should be, let's see, $81. Honestly, I think you have much better returns with Velo, SHX, even XLM is extremely undervalued than Quant that's at $80. It's quite high. And HBAR, let me check the price of HBAR. I have the XRP chart here, guys. Let's see HBAR. HBAR is at 20 cents, also extremely undervalued. It's one of my favorite projects as well. I love HBAR, and I would actually go for XLM and XLM and HBAR over Quant. Let's see more questions. Yeah, I know that KNT is also multi-chain, so that's something that I appreciate about Quant. That can be one of the reasons why it might thrive in the future. But looking at the chart, I think there are better options. Yeah, I can answer this. What Edo has been through. Well, guys, I can tell you, the last 3 months were the worst months of my life. I can tell you with all my heart that this was a very difficult situation. I got banned from X. Well, it goes down way before 3 months ago. I was persecuted. I got strikes on my YouTube channel. I got someone blackmailing me. Actually, they found a way to ban my TikTok as well. So I lost the TikTok a couple of months ago, which, by the way, I managed to recover my TikTok account. It was a very stressful period, and then I had to get an injunction against Twitter. I end up losing the injunction. I spent about $10,000, actually 10,000 euros. It's more than 10K per week fighting a battle against X that's never ending. So they just doing everything they can to dry my researches. They actually do that on purpose so that they don't have to restore my account. And if you guys don't know, I'm not the YouTube guy. I have started on Twitter. That was my main platform. Nearly 200,000 followers. It's something, if I see all areas of my life, Twitter was definitely the one that I had invested more time. You can't comprehend how much time and efforts I put on my Twitter account. I can't describe with words. It's beyond, like, there's no words to describe. Basically, I had the most influential account. It's something that I had set this goal like 5 years ago. I would actually work hard and I would transform my Twitter account into the most powerful account ever about XRP. Well, I accomplished that, and couple of months ago, one day I woke up and everything was gone, just like that. And of course, it's a very stressful to get a lawsuit. That's what I am doing right now. And things are not going so well. So that was why I was absent from YouTube. I had even decided at some point I was not going to do content anymore, but I found inside my heart the energy. And thanks to many of your messages, your kind words, I decided to actually stand up and keep fighting and keep building what I was doing before. So that's a long story. I even took a horse to their headquarters. That was insane. I actually went to Dublin, where X headquarters are located, with a horse as a form of protest, but also that didn't work out. I know it's insane, but I did that. Yeah, someone saw the picture with the horse. Well, the logistics to get a horse on the city center was like something that's, I can't even explain how hard it was. We lost our YouTube channels in 2017, our bread and butter. Yes, that's 100% true, man. I totally understand the feeling. It's very frustrating. That's why now I diversify in multiple platforms. I also have my own online academy, that's Alpha Lions Academy. And that actually gives me peace of mind to know that I am diversified. Where did you get the horse? Well, before going to Ireland, I started to actually look for horse stables. So I reached out a farmer and I agreed with him that he would actually bring me the horse in a truck in front of the headquarters of X. Nobody could believe, and then the horse just arrived. This was funny, guys. I was there in Dublin, and in front of X headquarters, it's a massive building. There's a coffee shop. So I went to this coffee shop, and I was there with I had a QR code. I had this idea. I brought a massive flag with a QR code, and I went there for a coffee while I was waiting for the horse. When I was sitting there, I started to wonder, there's no way someone's going to bring me a horse here. It's impossible. I was thinking to myself, I got scammed, you know, someone has just took my money and there will be not a horse here. And in the same moment I was thinking this, I see in front there is this truck and there is the horse. So I say, yes, they actually really brought the horse to the city center. And that was very, 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 that was a happy moment for me. I love horses. I ride horses since I was a child. And that's why I chose this symbol. One day I can tell the whole story about the horse. It was funny. Do you speak German? No, I don't speak German. I speak 7 or 6 languages, but German is not one of them. Can you use Ledger Nano keys? Really important. Can you tell us more about Ledger keys? Honestly, yes, you can use Ledger Nano. I don't have any problem with Ledger. Just from my perspective with cold wallets and my experience, I never got any hacks in crypto. I am in crypto since 2017. And my strategy is the less you interact with your cold wallets, the safest you're going to be. Avoid unnecessary protocols, avoid earning yield on your crypto or staking or whatever it comes to move your assets outside of the cold wallet. Avoid. I just live there. Maybe in the past 5 years, I have touched my cold wallets twice. Like I really don't touch them. And the less you touch, the safer it is. That's my take on cold wallets. Now you can use Ledger, you can use Descent, you can use, if you want, like the Rolls Royce of cold wallets, you can research about Kivo. It's a very sophisticated one, more luxurious. It's also more expensive. And the thing is, the less you interact, the better. That's my take. I'm reading some comments here. Yeah, guys, keep sending some comments. I'll do about 10 minutes more of live streaming. It's actually, if you believe me, it's 2:24 in Greece, so it's very, very late. I have been sleeping very late in these last 3 months. Have been through so much problems that I don't know what happened with my sleep cycle. You should start a meme coin with the story of the horse. Yeah, that could be a good idea. I would burn the entire supply, actually. What's your view on the news that Solana replaced XRP? That's technically impossible. I mean, okay, Western Union might have, I have not seen the full article about that, but apparently they are working with Western Union. Now get this, Solana network is extremely weak. It actually halts down every single, I would say every single month. I think there's more than 10 hours of halting in just the last 3 months. So just to give a perspective, the XRP ledger has been up and running without any halts. Okay, oh sorry, there has been 2 halts in the entire history. I say without, I was used, but we had a halt this year for the first time that was longer than 30 minutes. But it's basically 99.9999999%. There is no halts on the XRP ledger. So that means that money can flow freely and easily without any downtime. Now you don't have the same with Solana. Whenever the network gets congested, what happens? The network halts, or even without congestion. So that's not a safe blockchain. Actually, no, it's not about safety. It's about being effective. That's not an effective blockchain to actually move money seamlessly. It's just my perspective on that. Not hating on Solana, it's just it can't be a competitor to XRP. You can't compare a Porsche with a Toyota, you know? It's just, it can't. Love this question. Is that a good idea to invest in real estate in Greece? That's a fantastic idea. I have said this, it's like buying XRP when it was 20 cents. I think this sentence summarizes everything about real estate. I have been buying properties in Greece. I have been buying in Athens, actually. And basically, I generate a high yield with the properties that gives me about 12% API. That's actually something very difficult to reach for for global standards, and you can just rent your properties out for international students. I'm giving you the formula, guys. I should actually sell a course about how to do this, but it's basically very simple. You come to Athens, buy a property. If you are European, it's even more easy, but if you are from outside, you might need a golden visa. However, it's very easy. You just buy the property and there is no tax on the capital gain. So you can just buy, flip property if you wish, but it's going to 10x in the next 5 or 10 years. It's going to be like Portugal. I was in Portugal, by the way. The horse in front of X was epic. Thank you. That was a very elaborated plan. Took me a lot of efforts, as I said before. Should I acquire 10,000 XRP before putting money in other coins? I don't think, honestly. I think you could diversify, for example, on SHX and Velo, because there's the market cap's much lower and you have much more price fluctuations, and that allows you, for example, what I did on this cycle, bought SHX below 0.01, sold above 0.03, took massive profits, bought more XRP. Now that the price is lower, I'm buying more of SHX, so we can just do this type of swing trades. I don't see the point of not having at least some diversification on a small market cap. Greetings from Malaysia. Thank you. What price do you expect the Velo to reach this year? I don't like to give price predictions, to be honest, but I think at least a 5x is definitely possible. I remind you, it's trading at 1 penny right now. I do not mess with my wallets. Yeah, completely unnecessary. Just look, this guy that went viral, he lost millions of XRP. That's a great example. Just a second, I'm just checking some charts here. I have some open trades. I have been shorting the markets and making some money. So I have to check my leverage positions here. By the way, don't over leverage yourself, guys. If you do leverage, always do with isolated, never cross. That's extremely risky. Someone asked me if I am Spanish. I speak Spanish or Greek. I do speak Greek as well, but I am Italian. You need some healing work. Yes, man. I actually I don't even know what I need, but I never had so much stress in my life. It was actually terrible. Yorgos, τι κάνει, φίλε? Από πού είστε? Oh, thanks for the message, Daryl. I appreciate, man. I never expected a lawsuit would be so problematic. But yes, I have been praying a lot. I know there's a lot of people praying to me as well. And I think that's the only reason why I haven't given up yet. Then why would Western Union select Solana? Yes, they can actually be doing some shady moves just for the same reason. Think about this, and I can't say much, but why do you guys think BNB is making new all-time highs? Really, why do you think Binance coin is above $1,000 in a cycle that has been non-existent? Nobody uses that crap. Think about this. I can't say everything I want, but I'm just giving some food for thought. Political moves, you guess. Honestly, I don't like to talk about other creators. I think it's more about, how can I put this in simple words? I don't like to work with price predictions. I just don't like to work with deadlines and price predictions in a world that's full of uncertainty. I don't like to come here and say, look, in 2 days, XRP is going to be at this price or Velo is going to be at that price. I just don't think that's appropriated. Not talking about persons, just talking about ideas, you know. Yes, they say Italy is also good for houses. He bought a house for 50,000. Now, if you want to live, Italy is a good option to actually buy property, but it has high taxes on capital gains, so it's not good for investors. Also, you don't have the same possibilities as in Athens. Guys, you can buy property in Athens with about 50,000 euros. It's insane, I know. You can buy a 2-bedroom apartment with 50,000 euros, like 10 minutes from Acropolis by Uber, honestly. Make a course to teach people how to flip properties in Greece. That's funny. My thing is crypto, Alex. I do, actually, it's funny. I started, guys, you can do this. It's funny. If you want to see something funny, I started my YouTube channel talking about real estate. My first video. So if you go on my channel and you see the oldest video, so my first video ever, of course, the quality was much lower, but it's called, I don't know if you guys can see here, but buying properties in Greece. And I remember back there you could buy a studio with like 20,000 euros. Now it's more expensive, but I promise you it's going to pump here the real estate. It's going to be it's going to copy the move that happened in Portugal when I was a teenager and I was living in Lisbon, and I saw the price of properties. They went from like $80,000 back in 2016, 17, and 3 years later, the same property was like 250,000. It's just insane. Now the same property costs $500,000 in Lisbon. Where should we be buying XRP? Some suggestions. Some suggestions. I don't even know what I like anymore. I was gonna say Binance, but with the last liquidation event, Binance was actually down, so I don't even trust Binance anymore. Now, you can use Bybit. Bybit has remember there was a massive hack that happened surrounding one wallet that I don't remember exactly the circumstances, but I remember that they never halted withdrawals. So I put some trust on Bybit after that. I don't remember exactly the circumstances. And however, this last liquidation event, I tried to take money out of Binance to make a test. Couldn't take even 2,000, 3,000 euros. It was impossible. So be careful with Binance, guys. By the way, if you want to trade crypto without KYC, I highly recommend you can use BTCC. I have a link. Your first deposit gives you a 50% bonus, so you can check on the description of this live streaming. It's the exchange partner of this channel. They also have a derivatives market, and the favorite part why I decided is because it simply don't require KYC. So I like to buy XRP on BTCC. From there, I just send to cold wallets, and it's 100% anonymous. I just like to do that. I found you on YouTube. Well, I'm happy to hear that because most people came from X. Now I'm glad that my YouTube channel is starting to gain traction on its own. Yeah. I love so many comments about Velo. Yeah, so let me get this straight. Someone says if you only interact with your wallets 2 times, how many wallets do you have? Oh, I have about 15 cold wallets, but most of the times I use for small transactions, I use Xaman, and then I use many times, not 2 times, but let's say I want to send some XRP for a payment, or I want to send from an exchange, I just do it through Xaman, and that works smoothly. Is there any citizen by investment programs in Greece? Yes, you have the golden visa starting from 250,000 euros. And the greatest thing is that gives you benefits for family members as well. And it's very extensive program. So it's basically if you are married, that gives for your spouse, your daughter's son, even to the parents of both of you. So it's very comprehensive investment program in Greece. It's very attractive. I just answered what exchange. I do like Bybit nowadays, but exchanges are just a necessary evil. I mean, use that actually to buy your crypto. Perhaps if you need to do some derivatives market, I understand, but just use it. Send the crypto to cold wallets. Forget the crypto there. Or if you really need, have some stop losses on the exchange. That's the only reasons I would use exchanges. We need SHX on Uphold. You can buy SHX on Bitrue and also on Maxi. Maxi is also a good exchange in my opinion. Someone says, can you give a shout out to the German XRP Maxi? Yes, I can. So shout out to Oliver Wesley from CryptoVision. I'm gonna say the same to Vandel, since you send the best wishes to Vandel as well. Thanks for that. Let's see what else is. JC, who is JC? I don't understand. JC is just trying to build his channel. Who is JC? Okay, we have some questions. What do you think of ZBAC, ZBCN? Wow, that's a difficult question. Look, I will be very honest. I haven't went very deep on the research, but it's 50-50. There has been a time I was bearish on ZBCN, but there has been... I remember listening to Twitter Spaces, and I remember some people saying that there were some connections between ZBCN and Ripple. Perhaps that's true, perhaps that's not true. Now, if you don't mind, it's called Owned by My Kitty. That's funny. If you can repeat this question, Monday, I'm gonna take these days and I'm gonna make some research about ZBCM. So I have not been updated about this, honestly, so better to not give you a bad answer, let's say. This one I'm gonna actually answer in Spanish, okay? So, Edo, ¿qué pasó con el proyecto MXI? Lo estuviste promocionando, yo soy de México, invertí y se cayó, el proyecto se cayó, se perdió. Geraldo, ¿hablas inglés? Así lo contesto en inglés y más gente va a entender. I'm not sure if I should. Well, I'm going to answer in English so everyone's going to understand. He's asking me about MXI because I have openly spoke about MXI. I'm also part of the team. So yes, the project is very much alive. There is a lot happening behind the scenes, and I can 100% tell you that in the next perhaps 2 or 3 weeks, there will be a major announcement. I just had a meeting with Mark. He's the founder of Monerex. And by the way, one of the reasons the price has gone down is because my account was banned, and I was one of the bigger voices about MXI. Not only that, but people got quite scary because MXI is not on any exchange, and what happens is that it's only available on the DEX of the XRP ledger. So basically, for price action to happen, you have to be constantly talking about the project. So whenever there is no movements or updates on the social media about Monerex, people stop buying because simply it's not on any exchange. That means that there are tiny order books and that the price is extremely volatile. So just answering your question, Geraldo, there will be a massive market campaign for MXI. That's what I can reveal. I can't say much because they will be actually bringing all this information on first hand. So yes, I am still bullish on MXI and I'm going to stand with the project. Oh, this is a good question. I like to talk other things besides crypto as well. So what I have been implementing on my routine for mental health. Well, the first thing is that I have been working out a lot. I go to the gym every single day. That's something that helps me mentally. I have been praying. I do trust in God, and that's something that I do every. Well, so the thing I have done most in these days, these 3 months, that's Jesus. It was. I don't have words to describe how bad it was, but. And this is something I'm going to tell you guys one secret that has helped me in my life always, is that whenever things have gone not as expected, when things went very bad, and it happens to everyone, every time I would go to bed, and let's say I had a terrible day, I would actually go to bed and be thankful. I would actually be grateful for whatever I was experiencing. Even if something bad, I would focus on the good things that I have all my life. So I think if you program yourself every night, go to sleep and try to be thankful for things, even if things are going very bad, I think for experience, things always got better. So that's something I have been doing. Now, I have to be honest. When I went through the second month and everything was going south in this last battle that I have been fighting, it was very difficult to actually go to bed and just find a way to actually be thankful because things were crumbling apart in every single area. Now I'm still doing it, so I just hope that's light at the end of the tunnel. Now I do also eat very healthy. I don't eat any processed foods. The last time I ate some processed food, I guess, was like 10 years ago, maybe when I was a teenager. I never get sick, so that's also something very good. I take a lot of minerals. I take care of what water I consume. I don't take fluorides. Well, I can't talk about health on this channel. They will take me down if I start. So better to go back to crypto. Do not be bearish with ZEBEC. Is the blockchain leader in payroll? Please look heavily. Yes, I'm going to actually do some research on ZEBEC. I know some trustworthy people that are actually bullish on ZEBEC, so I'm definitely going to research more. What type of glasses? Yes, that's to protect from the artificial lights. I have the lighting here on my home studio. And it's, guys, it's already 3 in the morning here in Greece, so I definitely need the glasses. Otherwise, I would go to bed and sleep at 6. With the glasses, I go to bed, I can feel sleepy and can actually sleep very quickly. So it's very, very good to have the protection glasses. You can buy on Amazon for like $30. So many questions. I can't answer all, unfortunately. Yes, I study the Bible as well. There is a lot of valuable lessons, not only about finance, but everything, basically. I do love the Bible. I'm a Christian myself, so I don't really like the church, but I work on a good relationship with God. I think they have, well, I don't want to get on religious discussions here, but I don't know about these bets, honestly. Let's see more questions. Guys, I would stay more 5 minutes, so if you have any final questions before I go to actually get some sleep? What do you guys think about my lights here? Is it cool? I can change many colors and different stuff. So I'm actually working to get a better YouTube setup now that I am a YouTuber, you know. Oh, greetings from someone in Romania. Oh, there's people. So drop in the comments, where are you guys located? I want to see from which places of the world you guys are based. Have been to Bucharest, lovely city. I think the future of Europe is no longer Italy, Spain, France, Germany. I think the future of Europe stands on countries like Romania, Croatia, Serbia, Greece. Unfortunately, our governments here are turning on tyrants. That's what's happening with Europe right now. Heavy taxation, and I can go on and on. What if you paint your home studio walls a different color? Well, suggest me a color. I have many qualities, but I'm terrible for this type of things. Just to install these lights here, it took me like 1 hour. I am terrible with this type of stuff. Australia, USA, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, Belgium, San Diego, Greece, τι κάνεις φίλε? Peru Jungle, Auckland, Detroit, Malaysia. Whoa, we are everywhere, guys. That's awesome. I love to see I have so many followers. If they ever arrest me for tax evasion, I know I can escape to many countries. That's a joke, by the way, before they take my channel down. Getting some notifications here about BTC dropping further. New Jersey. Well, lots of people from the United States. I'm going to go to Las Vegas again for XRP Las Vegas. So looking forward to see many of you there. And yeah, I guess I'm coming to the end of this live streaming. So just wanted to make sure the lighting is correct. I changed the settings on my camera to see if everything will go smoothly Monday with the turning points. England, Houston, Texas again. Half Italian, someone is half Italian there. 100% mates. But yeah, I love to see some people here that I know there's a lot of Italians in America. Actually, not. I left Italy many years ago. I first moved to Portugal to do for my studies there, and actually, I ended up studying law in Portugal, and I stayed there for more than 6 years, or actually 7 years in Portugal. Yes, thanks. I'm glad that you are happy that I am back. So yes, they silenced me, but you know, it has been harsh times, but I can't play the victim. I have to actually stand up and just continue to work. There's too much happening in crypto right now. What's my take on quants? I actually, if you go back in the live streaming, actually when finish the live streaming, we'll be able, about minutes 25, I guess, you will find that I answer a question about KNT. Yeah, I know. I have met a lot of Canadians, Americans, and even Argentinians that have Italian surnames. Why your X account has been suspended? No, I can't answer that in the end of the live streaming. Otherwise, I'm going to be here until 7 in the morning. However, you can also go back. I have answered that, but long story short, I spoke about something I wasn't allowed, and that's the dormant BTC wallets. Can't say much. Yeah, thank you everyone for your comments. That really means a lot to me. If you can support my work, please give a like. If you see my videos on YouTube now, know that I am working very hard to actually put content out. I was in a very difficult mental state recently for everything that I have been through. So if you see my videos and you want to support my work, all I ask you, give a like, leave a comment. You're going to help to boost the algorithm. And yes, I'm going to be working hard to once again deliver you tier 1 information about crypto. And not only crypto, guys. I think I can contribute in other ways as well. I'm going to see you all Monday. Please tune in for the turning points. Me and Versan are going to have some amazing conversation. I hope Vandal can join us this time, and David as well, and Nathan, so we can have the full team. So yeah, thank you everyone. I'm gonna see you guys in the next live streaming. Done.